So now we know Great Western's option. Let's go to do, I'll show you how to start an electronic application. So we go to Great Western. Okay. See that red button, begin e-app now. That's pretty straightforward, right? So click on that button. And then you got to register. So you got to register here once you're contracted with them. And I'm hoping that I can still log in. Seriously? So they sent me an, okay, so here's the issue with them sending an email is that Ginny has put herself on all my correspondence. I'm sorry, I should have, unless mine is, I don't know that it is. Oh, there we go. Guess they do have mine. Okay, hang in with me. I'm answering the security questions. New password. Yay. Okay, so let's log in again. All right. Thank God. All right. So my enroller finally splits. So you click on this. Actually, look at all the cool things. You've got access to all their stuff. You can even download a form if you want to do a paper app. So you go to my enroller final expense. You've got instructions how to use it. So let's click launch. I'm hoping that the user and password is the same. Yay. All right, so this is pretty cool e-app. I really like it a lot. So so let's say your client, let's just use Ohio because I know the zip code. And why do you put zip code? Because this app is also used for Medicare stuff. And so they really got to know what zip code the client is. So I think Wonder Woman's female, and I don't think we had a date of birth per se, but it was like, let's just make something up, 10.6, 1955. Okay, start new. And remember, it's final expense, not hospital indemnity. And it's the Great Assurance is the one that we were able to choose right. So preferred effective date, let's say today. They can do bank draft monthly. So we can actually do credit card. Oh, cool. So calculate by face amount. So let's say they wanted 25,000. Wow, so they quoted it. And it was this one, right? The 117, it was like the really cheap price, right? We can add dependent or grandchild riders, accidental death rider. The accidental death rider is where we click on the I button. Rider is only available on a Great Assurance plan is available at nominal cost. So we can add, if they die in an accident, we could add not a member. Yeah. Cool. Have used tobacco. No. Just a premium to match the face amount. So adjustments to coverage. The plans are available, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So if they find that the client has worse health, they want to know here with this question, these buttons, do you want to adjust the face amount to match the premium? In other words, if they find out that the client is sicker based on their underwriting, excuse me. Oh man. Then they're going to adjust the face amount. Like they want 25,000, but they find out that they're really eligible for graded benefit, okay, which is 158.87, then they're going to have to drop the death benefit down to match the 158.87, okay? Or if they're really, really sick, then they're going to drop the death benefit down that for the 205. Well, actually, what they'll do, okay, so adjusted premium match the face amount means when you click here, the premium will go up if they're eligible for graded benefit or guaranteed assurance, meaning they're super sick. Or if you choose the other one, oh, I knew it would do it. That's awesome. That is really awesome. So if you chose where you adjust the death benefit based on the amount they can pay, 124.74, then these are the death benefit amounts that they're eligible for. That's cool. I like that. But let's just go with, so this makes sure your client's not going to pay any more than 124.74. Does that make sense? Okay.
That's awesome.
Okay, so we're good. So if you're good with this plan, the client's good with this plan, we're going to add the plan. Okay, you see how that's good. So when you add the plan, all this shows up where you can start the application. When you don't add the plan, there's nothing here. So it's like you can sit here and go, well, what do I do? So this is why you want to go through it yourself before you sit with the client. So what you do is you add the plan, the magic button shows up. So you can email the quote. So if you want to send the client the quote, you can print it out. But you already went through the quote with our quoter tool, right? So we already know the client can afford 124.74, start application. This is how easy it is. So let's just do it on me. Phone number. I don't know if these are required. 937-554-2693. Okay. Is the owner different than the primary insured? This is if the daughter wants to buy it for the mother, right? The daughter's the one that's going to pay for it. This is where you would do that. She would own the policy, not the mother. But let's just say the insured wants to own it. Will someone be signed the application on the authority of a power of attorney, guardian, or conservatorship? Meaning that you're talking to the daughter who's the power of attorney, the mother is just kind of not with it, you know. I have read the following statement to the client. The information furnished in this application will be complete, true, and correctly recorded to the best of your knowledge. Yes. So we're at this first thing, applicant, and then we just kind of move through the top, right? Click on next. Now with the medical. If any of the questions 1 through 10 are answered yes, the proposed insured should apply for guaranteed assurance plan. If any of the questions 11 through 13 are answered yes, the proposed insured should apply for the graded benefit plan. All medical questions 1 through 13 are answered no to qualify for the great assurance plan. So you see, they got to go, they got to answer these questions and put them into the right category. Okay, so what you did with the client is give them the initial quote of what you think they can get, but you know, maybe answering these questions will further clarify their real health situation, and that might put them into a different category, which is why we chose it at the beginning to adjust it according to after we get through all these questions. So number one, are you currently or have you been advised in the past 3 months by a doctor, basically confined to a nursing facility, receiving home health care or hospice? They didn't tell you that, you didn't ask for that. But if they did, you have to put yes. And then if you put yes, then they're in a different category of plan. Let's go with no. So this is how it builds up the questions. Do you require assistance from anyone with the following activities of daily living? Taking medications, bathing, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring. Okay, no. Okay, do you require use of an electric scooter? You can find a wheelchair as advised by a licensed member of the medical profession due to chronic medical condition or illness? No. Do you require the use of oxygen or oxygen equipment to assist breathing? No. Do you currently have or are you being treated by a licensed member of the medical profession for any form of cancer? Or have you been treated for recurrence of previous cancer? Okay, she said, Wonder Woman said no. In the past 24 months, you've been diagnosed, treated, tested positive, given medical advice, recommended to have treatment prescribed by a licensed member of the medical profession for Alzheimer's disease, dementia, or organic brain disorder. The client says no. Terminal illness expected to die, blah, blah, blah. You go through all these. Diabetes with complications, okay? I think she had diabetes. Oh, with complications. Okay, notice we said diabetes with no complications, but if she had complications, notice what happens. This is now it's different than what we originally quoted, right? So it says the plan changed. Based on how medical questions were answered, the applicant's eligibility has changed. Please review the adjustments. Initial options quoted and applied for, not eligible for guaranteed assurance or great assurance. Great assurance. They're not eligible. So the face amount was $26,475 for $124.74. The new plan, they're eligible for guaranteed assurance. So now they're eligible for $15,000. So you're going to have to break the news to your client. Say, hey, Mary, it looks like, I'm sorry I didn't ask this question before, but you had complications and now you're eligible for $15,071 of life insurance because now you're going to get the guaranteed assurance program. And if they say they accept it, great. Continue with the enrollment. Okay, but let's not check that. Do you see how cool that is? Okay, so let's click on next. Now we're in beneficiaries. You type in beneficiary, say it's Zoe, my daughter, 100%. Let's see, add primary. Child. Okay, got the beneficiary done. You can add contingent or whatever. Click next. Oh, I got to add it there. You always got to add it. You put it in, then you add it. Next, replacement. So does this policy replace any other previous insurance that they had? Okay, no. Will the insurance applied for, replace, or change? Okay, but if you said yes, then you got to answer the questions about they have a bad policy or they're, they don't like it. There's an accident policy. They're going to replace that with this, and you just answer all the replacement questions. Okay, but they're not replacing. We don't like replacing policies typically. Next, third party. Under law, a policy owner may designate a third party contact to receive notification. So look, if the client is like incapacitated and they can't pay their bill and their premium, although they probably still want to, you want the client to cover themselves with this information. So this is how you ask a question. Like if you can't make any decisions to pay your premium because you're out of it, would you like a third party like your daughter or your beneficiary to make sure that your premiums pay so that the policy continues? Oh, yeah. So I like to designate a person, so you put that person here, okay? They just want to make sure they cover their bases. Click next. Oops. Agreement. This is what they agreed to by signing. So you read this to them. Next. This is where you do electronic signature. The primary applicant is present. So you're doing it face to face by entering the date of birth and phone number electronically signed. So if you're on your iPad or tablet, this is a cool way to do it. With a client, they just click yes, they put in their date of birth, their phone number. Boom, man, it's signed. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You didn't need any paper application, etc. Let's say the client's not with you. Then you got to do the email thing, right? Which I'm not a big fan of. Okay. So let's do voice authorization. What do you do with voice author? This makes it super easy. So voice operation, you call the 866-582-8900 number. Please call this number with your applicant to record the voice authorization, reading the text below verbatim. You'll need to enter the following code at the beginning of the call. So this is how they tie the voice authorization with your application. Do not enter the 5-digit code until prompted. Okay. Press pound to save and end your recording. The applicant must respond to all applicable questions for the recording to be valid. So you call this number. Oh, let's see what happens, man. Let's call this number, baby. So 1-866-582-8900.
Company voice authorization hotline. Please enter your 5-digit code followed by the pound key. Start recording now. When finished, press the pound key to end the recording.
Okay. This is Alex Avian, agent number 69396 on 6/4/2022, 11:24:52 a.m. to perform a voice authorization for Alex Avian, who is applying for final expense whole life insurance. Alex O. Avian will now ask whether you understand and agree to all the terms and conditions of the application and related notice forms. You may acknowledge you understand and agree to all terms and conditions, including your answers in the application, simply by saying, I agree or yes to the questions I will ask. If you do not understand or do not agree with any of the following questions, please say no or I do not agree. The recorded answer will be your electronic voice signature and will have the same legal binding effect as signing a paper contract. Alex O. Avian, do you agree to use a voice signature for this process? Yes. Do you agree you are applying for final expense whole life insurance underwritten by Great Western Insurance Company? Yes. Do you understand and agree that before you can have insurance coverage, your application must be approved and the first month's premium must be paid, and when the policy is delivered, the insured must be alive and in the same health? Yes. Eligibility for final expense whole life insurance is based on information you provide to us in your application. Do you agree statements and answers you provided in your application are true, full, and complete, and that you have not withheld requested or required information? Yes. Okay, remember, when I say yes, I'm the client, okay? Do you agree to the terms and conditions of this application for final expense whole life insurance? Yes. I will now seek your authorization on several insurance forms. The Hipaa Authorization allows Great Western Insurance Company to obtain health and non-health information about you for use in underwriting and determining eligibility for the insurance plan you selected. Until the company has a Hipaa authorization, it will not be able to consider your application. Do you, Alex O. Avian, authorize any person, including any medical or medically related facility or professional pharmacy or pharmacy benefit manager that possesses health or non-health information about you to Great Western Insurance Company for the purpose of evaluating your eligibility for insurance? Yes. Information obtained will not be redisclosed without your authorization unless permitted by law, in which case it may not be protected under federal privacy rules. This authorization shall be valid for 2 years from this date and may be revoked at any time by sending written notice to Great Western Insurance Company. You may revoke this authorization at any time by contacting the company. If you agree, please state your full name that you agree on today's date. Full name is Alex Omega Abian, and I agree. And today's date is June 4th, 2022. Alex O. Abian, state law requires me to read to you a notice regarding fraud. After I've read you the statement, I will ask you if you understand. In addition to the statement I read to you, it is important for you to read and understand the fraud notice on your copy of the completed application. Please note, any person who knowingly and with any intent to defraud or damage files a claim containing false, incomplete, or misleading information may be in violation of state law. Use of the email to defraud is a violation of federal law. Alex O. Abian, do you understand the fraud notice that I've read to you? Yes. Read only if the application is replacing coverage. Okay, if they're not replacing coverage, we're not replacing coverage, and we're not reading that. Number 10, you will be receiving a copy. Oh, okay. You'll be receiving a copy of your completed application and related forms. If upon review of the application and forms, you want to revoke your voice signature, you must contact the company. If you notice any information is accurate or you disagree with any form, you must contact Great Western Insurance Company immediately to amend the application. Otherwise, your voice signature will be binding. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to call me at 937-554-2693. Thank you. And then stop recording is the pound sign.
Your voice authorization is complete. Thank you.
Okay, now it's a little long, but isn't this better than having them fish you an email? You know what I mean? I love this. I love this. Now you got to make sure your client says yes, when they're supposed to say yes. Okay, so we got that done. Next. Reminder, sure you hit pound to save and stop the voice recording. Yeah, I did. Okay. Then click next. Producer certification. I certify the information the application provided by the applicant and correctly recorded. I have no information to add that could affect the acceptance or rejection of the risk, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I certify that I've read and understand the producer's training guide to anti-money laundering. I understand that under the Treasury Department, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Then you can view the anti-money laundering form. This means that you reviewed it. So a lot of times you want to see that you opened it and closed it. Okay. Does this applicant have any existing insurance policy or new to contracts? No. Okay. Confirm effective date. We're going to make it effective today. No, premium may draft immediately unless future preferred date is active. Okay. Look, you get paid when it gets drafted. Okay. So let's just tell the client, let's get the coverage in today so you don't got to worry about it. Upon approval of this application, policy should be mailed to the applicant. Would you like to split your commissions? No, man, all for me, baby. Okay. Applicant copy. Applicant will automatically be sent a copy of their application with corresponding forms, enter PDF password, and the applicant's email address below. Okay, if they don't have an email, then just go no email. You have indicated that the applicant does not have a valid email address. To ensure the applicant receives all the materials they need at the time of enrollment, you must complete all the screens in the MindLoader tool until you reach the review step. Print the entire application PDF and ancillary forms. Provide the documents to your applicant immediately following the enrollment process. So when you print, you could ask the client if you can print to their computer, but what I would do is I would print it as a PDF and leave it on your hard drive. And then I would go home, print it out, and mail it to them, you know, or drop it off to them. Okay. But so let's say the password is 1234. Verify applicant's address 8911. Blah 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 blah. Well, email. I'm sorry, this is email address. Now let's add applicant. Remember, you got to 10 characters. Remember, you always got to add the applicant. Next, bill day information. The premium may draft immediately as future date is chosen. We didn't choose that. Okay. Example, when policy is written and activated on October 15th, draft date requested the 4th. Policy will draft immediately and then again 11/4 for the second secure payment. So this tells you what the draft cycle will be. So you need to let the client know, man, when this thing's going to draft, because this will cause you a client to cancel if they draft when they weren't expecting. This is seriously one of the most important parts of this process, gang, is to understand the bill day and draft date. So when you say it's going to start today, then you're going to let the client know as soon as this processes, they're going to draft your account for the 124 and change. Is that okay with you? Okay, like just be real clear. Sometimes older people aren't with it, and you just gotta, okay, so when you see this draft coming out in the next couple days, you're not gonna freak out. It's coming from Great Western Insurance Company. You're not gonna call me and say, hey, you ripped me off or whatever. Like, I'm not kidding. You gotta overdo it with people, man, especially when they're older. And I'm becoming that older guy, okay? I don't remember so good. You make sure they know what's going to happen on the draft, because you'll blow it when a client isn't expecting it. You're all irate, and they think you're ripping them off, and you potentially could have lost an $800 commission because you weren't very meticulous in clearing the draft date from them. All right. Okay. Again, understand this, right? So let's again go through the example. The policy is written and activated October 15th. But the draft date they want on the 4th. Okay, so today is the 15th, October 15th. They want to draft on the 4th of every month. So you got to inform the client now. I know you want to draft on the 4th. So what they're going to do is they're going to draft it immediately. And then they're going to draft it on November 4th for the second premium payment. Okay, now, Joe and Mary, are you good with that? Okay, they're going to kind of backdraft it. They're going to draft it on the 4th because that's when you wanted it. So in the next few days, expect a draft from your account for the 124.74. But then on November 4th, you're going to have your second draft. Are you guys good with that? You're not going to think, well, how come they didn't draft it on the 15th? It's because you requested the 4th. So the next draft date will be November 4th. You guys good with that? Again, gang, I've been through this too many times to get so sick of this happening. I just make sure they say yes. Okay. Here's an example too. Policy is written and activated on October 15th. Draft date requested is the 28th. The policy will not draft the initial premium until the 28th. So understand what's going on. We activated it on October 15th, but they don't draft until the 28th, which is 13 days from now. Okay. So the policy will not draft the initial premium until the 28th. Subsequent payments will be drafted on the 28th of each month. The second payment drafted on November 28th. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith, okay, we're putting it in place today, but they're not going to draft your first draft until the 28th of the month. And then it'll be the 28th on the second premium will be the 28th of November and then the 20th of December. And if it's on a weekend, it'll default to the next workday. Are you guys good with that? So gang, I'm like serious, man. You got to be very meticulous. If you have any questions, please call Agent Care. I have reviewed the payment scenarios with the applicant and owner. Again, see, they realize how important it is for the client. Next, this is where you get all the payment information, okay, with the client. I like that this is at the end. It's probably going to validate everything for it.
Thank you for waiting. Your call is important to us. Please continue to hold for the first available representative.
Yeah, so they validate it, so.
All of our representatives are still assisting other customers. You may leave a message by pressing 1 and we will return your call, or you may continue to hold for the next available representative.
Okay, account type checking, are you authorized? Yes, bill day. So let's, I forgot what we did today. So let's say the effective date, let's say the 15th bill day. So when we pick the 15th, like what's going to happen, right? They're going to immediately draft and then they're going to draft again on the 15th, I think, right? Is that right? If it's like soon, if it's, I think what they're going to do is they're going to wait until the 15th to draft.
Please continue to hold and your call will be answered by the first available representative.
Okay, so this is the review. Actually, it didn't go this far. I should have probably went this far. So we're going to review the application for accuracy. Does everything look good? Right, and then we click next. Yeah, everything's good. Click next. And then complete case. Is that cool? You're done.